Cagefight round 1. So got dice, got Fellblade, got Magnus. So I'm going to roll off, see who goes first. This will, much like 40k, probably determine who's going to win. Final votes in, 50-50 split. So you don't know who's going to win. We all want the Fellblade to win. Death to the heretics. But you know, we will remain unbiased throughout. Okay, so this end, Magnus. We've had a battle scribe. Magnus, dice, Fellblade, swanky Necron scenery from TT Combat, and some super swanky personal scenery. Thanks to my baby for having so much baby milk. That's right, baby milk. Okay, so get dice. I'm going to roll off. Odds. Magnus goes first. Evens. The blade goes first. It's odds. The blade. Okay, so strategically, the Fellblade doesn't need to move, does it? Because it's just a giant tank with a boatload of guns. Magnus, however, needs to get himself downfield to use his psychic powers, do all his mortal wounds. But fingers crossed for the Fellblade, that is, blow him up in a single turn. If Magnus does get down and start laying on those mortal wounds, wounds are going to come down the tank. Tank's going to get hard to hit, and if Magnus gets in close to melee, could well be game over. All right, so shooting. So today's lovely Fellblade is armed with its massive Fellblade accelerator cannons. Just stuck behind will be the Demolish Cannon. We also chose quad las cannons on the side. Somewhere, I can't remember where. Oh yeah, here. Here they're heavy bolters, but today they're still twin heavy bolters. Somewhere, I forgot where the pintle manager is, will be the invisible multi-melter. But at 24 inches, multi-melter is going to be a last hope resort, isn't it? So, let's figure out ranges. So in the magical world of unbiasedness, we can see the front of the hull. Oh, let's just sneak that forward. The front of the guns, 43 inches, which gets us basically the quad las cannons, the giant accelerator cannon, but sadly not the demolisher. Now ordinarily, the question is, would you move him up? But because he doesn't have machine spirit like an 8th edition, he's going to be -1 to hit. So we don't really want to do that when he's only BS3 anyway, for the sake of 2 extra hits. Well, the Demolisher Cannon is the heavy D6. Oh, questions. Well, the Demolisher Cannon is 24, that thing only moves 10, so it's not going to be in range anyway, so we'll just sit where we are and let Magnus come to us. So, let's pick up some dicey-diceys. Magnus, you're going to get it in the face. So let's go with the quad las cannon. We got 2 of those, so that's going to be 4 dice for that, and that's going to be 4 dice for the other one. Woo, swanky! Alrighty, so we're going to try and do some super cool slow-mo. So hold on. Okay, so now I'm going to see how Tabletop Tactics have so much fun rolling dice. So 1 and 2 are a miss, they're going to come out. For the sake of this game, nobody's got any CP for any re-rolls. I had considered 1 CP per turn. So yes, we're going to swap that for a 3, which is a hit. Marvo. Okay, so let's remember that the Fellblade has then used its CP for this turn. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. The quad las cannons, we always know, strength 9 versus Magnus toughness of 7, so that's going to be 3s to wounds. Oh, get rid of that 1 and get rid of that 2. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successful hits. Now, Filthy Magnus, let's go on to his saves. Now Magnus has the crown of the Crimson King. More Chaos Filth. So that's a 4-up invulnerable save. So we're looking for 4 up on these dice to save Magnus. Oh, look at that. 2. Now I'm going to use Magnus's CP in his round to maybe re-roll some super cool stuff. So that is 2 failed saves there, which means that would be 2d6 damage. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. 11 wounds. Take that in the face, Magnus. That means Magnus drops down to 7 wounds. Oh, poor old Magnus. 7. That's what you get for being a heretic. Yeah, don't look at me in the face. 11 wounds. Unbiasedly, maybe one should have re-rolled one of those saves, but I figured, who's going to do 11 wounds on 2 last cannon hits? So maybe we should hold on to that CP for his own psychic test. Okay, so we fired this tiny gun battery here, and we fired this tiny gun battery here, which leaves these 2 enormous ones. Now, question is, do we fire the AE shells, which is heavy 2, or do we fire the HE shells, which is heavy 2d6? I think we go for heavy 2d6. So, 2d6 shots. Oh, 10. Why does this never happen in a real game of 40k? So that's going to be 5 shots. Alright, we are looking at 3s to hit again. We don't like more dice there. No white dice there, we'll have all red. So, let's go for slow-mo dice rolls. Okay, bit of a nasty math hammer there, so we need to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. So these are strength 8 against toughness 7, so still 3s to wound. Ooh. That is 2 failed to wound, so Magnus is looking at 3 4-up saves on this one, which he makes this time. Suddenly don't feel so bad about the quad las cannon shots from earlier on. Okay, now, in terms of the range, that is as far as that thing can shoot. So round 1, successful as the Fellblade has taken 11 wounds from Magnus. Magnus's retort. Okay, so only 7 wounds remaining. Magnus's move is now reduced down to 14, which means this dude is going to fly to about here. There we go. Base to the base. There we go. Watch out for the scenery. Let's get that tape measure out of the way. There we go. Alright, now, in terms of psychic phases, I gave Magnus 3 choices of his psychic powers today. Now the first one I figured, which would be clearly a good choice, would be warp time, which means if he manifests on a 6, he can move as if it were the movement phase, which would be another 14. So, 2d6, there's your 6, Magnus moves another 14. Suddenly, the Fellblade looks a little less smug than it did a few moments ago. Which that gets. Oh, Magnus is perilously close. Perilously close. But still, having made it all the way down the table and moved 28 in 2 phases, he's still 14 inches away, which is just outside the charge range. But that is still healthily in range of Smite, which is on a 5. He fails that, but he's got some swanky devices to help him here. Primarch of the Thousand Suns. Let me just put that here so it looks more exciting. There he is. Yes. So, Primarch of the Thousand Suns, you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 and any dice rolls of 1 that are made as part of a psychic test for friendly Thousand Sun unit within inside Magnus's 9 inches, which includes himself. So that rolls up to 6. Okay, so his smite is slightly worse than everybody else. Alright, so he gets a D6 mortal wounds, which is a 4. So the Fellblade takes 4 mortal wounds, which takes their Fellblade down to 24 wounds. I've got to find a bucket of dice. 1, 2, 3. Okey-dokey. Use that one there. Okay. So 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. Alright. So Magnus has 1 remaining psychic power left. And that will be... Let's try Infernal Gateway. It's only 12 inches. Can't have Infernal Gateway. In which case, Flickering Flames is a bad choice for Magnus. Nay mind. We'll work around that. Alright. Turn 1. Definitely on points Fellblade. Fellblade took 11 wounds off Magnus. There's his 7 wounds remaining. And Magnus took off, as we said, 4 wounds from the tank. Round 2 is next. Okay, so first round, everything looked pretty good for the Fellblade, didn't it? Until Magnus managed to leap 28 inches down the table. Giant wings, very mobile. So Fellblade is not going to move because there's no for it to move. So now she's going to unleash all manner of hell with every single weapon it has. Now Magnus is only 14 inches away. So let's get into it. Right, so let's just point those cannons there because obviously we like to have some form of realism. So this time, because we haven't used it yet, we're going to start off with the Demolisher Cannon. So the Demolisher Cannon is going to be heavy d6. So we're going to roll dice now and get a 4. So we are still looking on his first wound track. So this is still a BS of 3. So we'll take those 2 out. Strength 10, so 3's to wound. Fail. The Demolisher Cannon demolishes nothing. So back to the quad las cannon, so heavy 4, so it's going to be the 8 dice. Did huge damage last time. So 3's to wound, 3's to hit, sorry. Get rid of that one. Bit of a sorry for Magnus now. So CPs, and hang on a minute. Strength 9, tough 7, so 3's to wound. All but 2. Alright, so we're going to see. So 5. 5 4-up saves for the Magnus. That's 3. That's 3 failed saves. He's going to CP 1. That's 2. 2 failed saves. 2d6 damage. 5, 8. Magnus dies. Turn 2. Unbiased aside, Magnus is dead. Hurrah for all, Blood Angels rule. Sing!